one. It's late over here in the United Kingdom, that is. Myself and Fee in separate places, of course, but probably in pajamas that you can't see on.
I
on
didn't. I thought about it, but I didn't.
okay, well, Fee, I am. So there we go. Anyway, this is an NWA, another territory talk. And, we've been doing Exodus Pro for a while. We've had some of the Exodus Pro team on. We've had Pretty Boy Smooth, we've had CeeLo, we've obviously had EC3. Aaron, we've unfortunately for our sins have had Carson Drake on in the past as well. But today, and I've got to get this right because EC3 will kill me if I say it wrong one more time. We have the NWA Midwest champion getting ready for another defense at Journey 3 is Dante Casanova. Welcome, Dante.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And Fee, I forgot. Hello, Fee.
Hi.
The co-host. We've done Power a little while ago, and you were on. We already welcomed you to that. So yeah, don't get two welcomes to this show. Dante, welcome. We actually just saw you on an episode of Power. It was the Heartthrob Battle Royal or Invitational.
Invitational
Thank you.
Championship or whatever.
Yes, the Aussie
Yeah, yeah.
Idol.
In a
Great
big
to see.
name.
Yeah, great to see you on NWA television. How was that for you being a part of NWA 77?
It was awesome. It was really surreal because I actually was at the last year's anniversary show, 76,
Hmm.
and I was actually behind the scenes. I was one of the camera person's like line holder. So the cable, I had to make sure that, it was not in the way of wrestlers so that they would trip or whatever. So going from 76 being behind the camera to being on 77 in front of the camera was actually pretty cool. It was good feeling actually. So I was very thankful for that opportunity.
Definitely. Maybe the first of hopefully many more to come on the NWA. As I said, in front of the main NWA, obviously, we'll talk Exodus in a minute. But you mentioned last year and this year, me, Fee, we've watched the first few episodes, Fee, of 77, and we've
Yeah.
really noticed a big uptake in. We didn't say there wasn't great wrestling beforehand, Fee, but there's certainly been a lot. The last three episodes have certainly been like it's taken up a notch a bit.
Yeah, I think 77's just a whole new level. I wouldn't know we'd spoke about it earlier. I'm gutted that it's not been a pay-per-view, but every single episode is just, well, the first three anyway. They've had three or four fantastic matches, and it's been really, really nice to see folk like yourself coming on, who we've watched in the territories, but actually getting that on that bigger stage, basically.
Yeah, it's good to see that, that the NWA is actually doing something with the territories and giving them an opportunity to not
Hmm.
only have the territory platform, but also be a part of the main show and show that, the territory system is worth investing in. It's worth keeping your eye on because there's a lot of hidden gems there that are just waiting for the opportunity. And when they're given that opportunity, as you can see on these past 77 shows that, we shine. We're just waiting for that opportunity. So it's amazing to be not only a part of that, but to be able to represent, the territories on the main shows.
It's also interesting because you see sometimes you get I don't like to call them feeder, but sometimes you get the shows below that, and there seems to be like a glass ceiling. But it feels different with the NWA, and we've mentioned people like the Slime Balls, Smooth, CeeLo, Carson Drake, Tiffany Nieves, everyone that's coming up. So it proves to me that the territory system is actually a really good conveyor belt for the NWA. And it doesn't feel like there is a ceiling because we've seen so many talents come on. And even if it was like yourselves and Argento was at the show as well in that same invitational. So it doesn't seem like there is like a ceiling from the territories to the NWA.
No, not at all. And that's another beautiful thing about it is like, some people see us as a territory system or whatever. So they think, oh, you're not on the level of such and such. But to me, I view it completely different. I view it as like, there's only so many spots for television, and I understand that. So the territory system can be something to where we can have our own platform to shine, so to say, and then that can be presented to the NWA office, and they can be like, "Oh, this one's not on TV. Why isn't he on TV? He's obviously shining here. Let's give him a spot on our actual 77 show or any other show for that matter, and let's see what he or she can do." And for the most part, like I said, we're hidden gems. We're just waiting for that opportunity. So any given, time allotted to us, we're going to make the best of it. And whether we are in a feeder position or in a main position, we're going to excel in that given spot.
Mm, definitely so. And with the addition now of Roku, NWA being on Roku, that also shines another spotlight on, and it's given it a lot more presence. Obviously, with the NWA, that is a big deal. We've already mentioned it quite a few times, a little bit difficult if you are internationally based. We've managed to skirt around it, albeit with a few issues, but we get to see it every week, which is great for us. But being on Roku and being on such a big streaming platform must also be more exciting for you guys. When you do get that opportunity, not only are you going up to the NWA, but you're now going on this massive platform with so many millions of people can watch you wrestle.
Yeah, it's amazing because if you look back a few years ago, the NWA wasn't really a talking point in the world of wrestling. Like it existed, but it was like kind of like almost a forgotten son.
Mm.
So to be able to not only be a part of NWA, but also to be in a historic deal, like for us to be on the streaming platform of Roku Television, like that's a big deal. And so a lot more eyes are on us, and it gives us much more of an opportunity to showcase what people aren't really seeing because of the streaming that we weren't allotted or what the case may be. So to be able to be afforded the opportunity to be on Roku is, a blessing. It's really a blessing in shorter words.
Yeah, definitely. So, Fee, over to you.
No, I want to ask you about your look, basically. Adam and I have spoken about you before. I think you've got one of the most unique looks in wrestling at the moment. There's no one else like you out there. What was the kind of inspiration behind that?
So when I was first starting to learn wrestling, I wasn't very in tune with the whole entertainment aspect of wrestling. I want to be a wrestler. That's all I really knew. Because growing up, I wasn't really an extrovert. I was very introverted. I was very to myself. I didn't want any, people around me, whatever, whatever. So I never really learned how to really express myself like that. So when I first started, I was just a wrestler. And then I quickly realized that that doesn't make a name for yourself. Anyone can be a wrestler. You have to be something other than just a wrestler. So when I was coming up with a quote unquote gimmick, I was like, well, what can I do that's different from everybody else? And I was really struggling with that. But then, like, I took a deeper internal look into myself and I was like, well, me, myself, I am different from a lot of people because I genuinely hail from Aztec descendants. So I was like, let me just take what I already am, amplify it up by 10, and just like shove it down people's faces because Aztecs are a big deal in my culture, but in the grand scheme of the world, they're not really known. They're kind of like unknown because they're only around for 200 years or so. So to be able to crank up my heritage and my ancestry up to an 11 and be able to showcase it on a platform like NWA and for people to notice it and be like, wow, that's something really cool I've never seen before is actually really like, I love that. I take so much pride in the fact that no one has seen anything like what I've done. But I'm not doing anything that's like out of the norm for me because to me, this is my heritage. This is my ancestry. This is where I hail from. So that's where the inspiration for El Jaguar came from.
It certainly makes an impact when you come through the curtains because I remember the first time I saw you, I was like, wow, who is this guy? And like I said, it's such a unique look and there is nothing else like there. It's going to make you really memorable for a lot of people, which can only be a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I get a lot of people that come up to me whether I'm at the merch table or whatever the case is, and a lot of times it's some people's first time going to an independent wrestling show, and they don't know what to expect. So when they see something like me, I instantly stick out to them, and they get hooked. And not only are they hooked to wrestling, but they're also hooked on like why why haven't I known about this? Like this whole art form or this Broadway, quote unquote. So it enables me to not only showcase what we do for a living, but also to give a little bit of insight of the Aztecs as well. If I can have one person leaving there and doing a quick Google search on like what are Aztecs or whatever the case is, it makes me know that I've done my job in compelling somebody.
Yeah.
It certainly makes your Midwest Championship look even better.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely, absolutely.
Definitely so. Now, you mentioned Google search, which brings me nicely to the search that I've done. It's not necessarily a search that I've done this evening. Fee mentioned the look of you. So I decided to just basically not give the AI chat any names. I didn't give a name. All I done was sent a picture of you with the Midwest Championship, and I said to ChatGPT, "Give me five dream matches from this picture." Basically,
Right.
these are the five that they come up with. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. The first one. So basically, it said that these are five dream matches that would fit a wrestler with this type of powerful, culturally inspired, and larger than life presence. That's what it said about you. The first one it gave you was, it says, a clash between two wrestlers that are kind of inspired by heritage. You mentioned your Aztec heritage, and it said that this match would be, there was a high flying style to it because your opponent would be Rey Mysterio Jr. What about that
Ooh.
for?
Oh my God. We're starting off hot. Like
Yeah, we are
it,
indeed.
in terms of icons and legends in this business, can you really get much bigger than that? Like Rey Mysterio is an icon. He's certainly one of the very first wrestlers that I grew up watching and just was enamored with not only his wrestling style, but again, the heritage, the lucha libre tradition.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's like the embodiment of lucha libre. So definitely a dream match. I would absolutely 100% love that for that to happen.
It said it here. It would be mixing tradition with an athletic spectacle was the word that it used.
I'd be down
Go-
for that.
Yeah, I've been now. More so for me, this one because I like the fact this one. So this one, it says a brutal story-driven encounter between two warriors representing different aspects of that lucha libre. I know you're not necessarily a lucha libre as such, but anyway, it does say this would be Dante Casanova versus Zelo Miedo.
Oh man, that's another one. That's another one. I love everything that he does. I love the representation. It's amazing. Um, he is definitely someone that I've been keeping my eye on recently. He his just everything about him is just fantastic. Not only is he smooth in the ring, as a lot of people like to say, but he's just great at every aspect of it, whether it's compelling the fans, whether it's making your stuff look good, crisp, timing, your creativity in the ring is very important as well. You have to stand out in the ring with what you do, and he does an amazing job at that. So that definitely is something that would pique my interest. I definitely would love to see how we would clash in the ring together.
You'd have to learn his strut and do a dance.
Yeah.
The third one. Now, this was basically, I think, based on the charisma, the elaborate, the style, the color, and I definitely can see it because he says where flamboyant presentation meets technical elegance, and your opponent on this one would be Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh man, when you talk about like a generational talent, like I think he just embodies that. Like that man can do no wrong in the ring. Whatever style you want, he can match it, if not do it better. So that not only is that something that I would want, but I think like as just a student of the game, that's something that I need to happen. I think I need that match.
Well, hopefully when he's got to be back from injury as well first. But the flamboyance and the colourful nature fee would be an interesting one with
Yeah.
some of the drip that the Seth Rollins would be interesting. That's for sure. Now, this is the one that really, well, the last two on this really intrigued me for different reasons. The first one says it's going to be a fast-paced, high-risk match combining lucha and modern aerial offense because your opponent in this case is the aerial assassin, someone that lives about 20 minutes from me in over here in the UK. That is Will Ospreay.
What a wrestler, what a worker. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but he's definitely somebody that I took a lot of time to study and watch a lot of his matches when I was in wrestling school, learning how to be a wrestler. Because, like, as I mentioned with Penta, he's just smooth with everything he does. He's crisp with everything he does. But the same aspect as Seth Rollins, he's just any style that you need, he can do and excel in. So he is definitely somebody that I think if you want to consider yourself to be in the conversation of being the best in the world, I think he's someone that you need to step in the ring with. So I would definitely love to have that match 100%.
Well, hopefully he's healing up quite well as well, from what I see, which is nice. And again, live literally down the road from me over here in Essex. So hopefully, I go to his mum's promotion. Funnily enough, their family run a promotion near me, and yeah, I go down there quite regularly to see him. Finally, now this will be no surprise considering what we was talking about before we started the show. This one says a main event level power struggle between two dominant champions with strong cultural entities and imposing presences, and possibly his doppelganger. You'll be taking on Roman Reigns in the last match of this one. And well, what better way to Dante Casanova, Roman Reigns?
I
Like
mean,
looking in a mirror.
I mean the match sells itself. You know, I don't think there's a whole lot more we can do to make that match money making. That's definitely something that it will happen. I'm calling it. It will happen.
Yeah, interesting. It will happen. Hopefully one day it will. But that was I think ChatGPT done a good job for a change.
Yeah,
I
that was
think
good.
generally generally it can be quite a controversial one, but I think they hit the nail on the head with a lot of the what they were saying. And that was only from one of your pictures, so that's quite a good. I'll give it props where it's due. It doesn't want to take my job just yet, but it does. It's done a good job. Let's talk Exodus now. So me and Fee, we've watched again. We decided to branch out to the territories. Fee, I think that's a fair comment. We were doing a lot of the
Yeah.
NWA. They obviously brought the territories back. We watched the Back to the Territories show that they done probably 18 months or so ago. Fee.
Yeah, spring last year, I think it was, yeah.
Um, and then we decided, hey, this would be a great opportunity to look at the territories, give them a platform, give them a name. And eventually we saw that Exodus was on the NWA YouTube channel. They were streaming live on the YouTube. So we thought, great, we'll watch this. And then we'll review it like and we've done it for the last couple of shows. But what I've noticed and from these shows are I mean we mentioned the talent before, and you mentioned it was, this was a proving ground for them to go up, but it's been incredible. We've seen the likes of LJ Cleary on a couple of shows. I know he's injured. He's been out injured at the moment as well. Obviously, Spencer Slade come from there. And with Brandon Barretta's another one that we just see. But there just seems to be so much excitement about Exodus, not just because it's a territory, but for the brand itself.
Man, to not only be a roster member for Exodus Pro that's a big deal in on itself. We don't just let anybody come in.
Yeah.
We're not big on just bringing somebody in just to bring them in. Like they have to fit the culture, they have to fit the locker room, and not just that, but they have to look like they belong. Like you mentioned, like we've got studs there. We've got LJ Clearly, we got Brandon Barreto, we've got Spencer, you've got Dante Casanova. Like
Yeah.
you can't just be a part of that roster just because you want to. You have to earn that position.
Yeah.
But not only that, but if you are a wrestler on the independents or even somewhere else, you've heard of Exodus Pro, and we're the hottest thing going right now, and we're only getting bigger and better every show that goes on and on and on. Everybody wants to be a part of this show, and for me personally, I take a lot of pride in that because not only have I been on since day one, but I've also represented the company as the champion. I travel all over the nation and the world, really, defending that championship. And everywhere I go, every locker room that I get to, I always get at least one question about Exodus Pro, whether that be how they can get connected with whoever needs to get connected to, or when's the next show and what can they do to help. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. We're hot right now, and we're only going to get hotter.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Talking
Go
about your championship, you're saying you've defended it quite a few places. You've been, I had a quick look. You've been well traveled with it, and you've had it for what, was it about 290 something days now?
I think 293 today, yes.
Edging ever closer to that 1 year mark.
Getting closer, getting closer, a few more months and I'll be there.
Yeah. Did you in the last show, obviously Adam and I got to watch it. It hasn't been aired. But we know you had your match with J-Rock. That was something that had been seriously, seriously hyped up, and for good reason. How did you feel going into that, knowing how hungry he was to get that championship?
To me, it was something different because, like you said, he was hungry for it. And it's one thing to go up against somebody who's hungry for an opportunity, but it's another thing to go against a seasoned vet who is hungry because he has nothing to really lose, but he has everything to gain
Yeah.
But it's not only that, it's also like he can go. He has a gear that is just unmatched, really, by a lot of wrestlers nowadays. And you take that with his knowledge of the game and the intensity that he brings out of every wrestler. It is I would be a fool not to prepare for that match. So I definitely didn't take him lightly at all. And not only did I not take him lightly, but I was also like kind of like excited because it was like this will test my ability to stand with not just the young kids. It'll put me in a league to go up against somebody who has studied and been in this game far longer than I have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, looking at your defenses alone since defeating Pretty Boy Smooth, I mean, you've done the who's who really in a lot of sense, in totally different styles as well. And I'm just talking about Exodus here, not necessarily, around the globe, but you've done Pretty Boy Smooth. You took on and beat the alternate Anthony Green, who wowed me in the last one. You've even beat Strictly Business himself, Brandon Beretta, which I think is no mean feat. I think he's one of the best technically gifted minds in there as well, and a good. Was it the hip toss or the take? What
His
does he
waist
do?
locks.
Waist locks.
Yeah.
Yes, that is it. You obviously was a six-man tag victory as well, and you beat J Rock. But I do wonder if there's ever going to be a point where you defend that championship against the Overman himself, because there seems to be like there's a respect thing there, but I do get a hint that he's maybe looking at that gold, thinking he wants it back around his waist.
I if there's any dream match that I genuinely want, that's one of them because not only is he the overlord and he's the head honcho at Exodus Pro, Exodus Pro is his baby,
Hmm.
but he's also my mentor. I wouldn't be nearly where I am today without him. I have every bit of respect and admiration for that man. He has taught me so much more. I can never repay him for what he's done for me in my career, but not only as a wrestler, but as like a friend. Like I've spent nights with him and we've been on long car rides together. And I mean, we went to England together. We did an England loop together. He took me international for the very first time. So not just as a wrestler, but as a friend, as a colleague, as somebody that spent a lot of time with him, I have the utmost respect for him. But I've never had the opportunity to go head to head with him. And he was the NWA World Champion at one time.
Yeah.
So I'm just a territorial champion. I want to prove that I can hang with the best of them. And what better way to do it than to take on a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion? So that definitely has to happen and needs to happen, and I want that to happen sooner than later.
I
He
do.
took a bit of a beating after your match with J Rock though. How's he doing after that? Because yeah, they didn't go easy on him at all.
Yeah, no, he definitely, he looks after me to his detriment because this isn't the first time that he's had some kind of altercation, defending me in the way that he does. But I've reached out multiple times and he's recovering. He's still a bit beat up and he's still, bandaged and whatnot, but he's the overlord. He's gonna overcome it. He's gonna come back stronger than ever.
He will be. We're looking forward to having him back at Exodus at Journey 3. Your opponent is to be determined yet. We haven't seen anything about on December the 6th of who you're facing. The only name that springs to mind right now, and that's because Fee, we call him the most punchable face in wrestling. That would be Sir Carson of Drake. Seemingly I mean, he's territory champion near enough everywhere else, but Exodus Pro, and perhaps that could be the man that you take on in Journey 3 on December the 6th.
You know,
Please beat
it,
him. Please
it,
beat him if you do. Please.
there's no doubt about that. That the outcome is pretty much written in the stars. Whether he's man enough or not to face me, that's on him. I welcome every and any challenger that thinks they're man enough to step up against me. I welcome it all. But as it's shown, he doesn't really want to go up against me in a fair one-on-one match. He has to have some sort of advantage. So if it's not announced that me and him are going, toe to toe, I don't think it's going to happen on January 6th because I just don't think he believes in himself to take me on one in a clean fashion wrestling match. I think he has to wait for me to get beaten up or something
Or
to
have the slime balls slide in and get involved or something.
that too. That too. He has to have someone do his dirty bidding for him.
Definitely. Well, he's done that the last few shows. Another one that's obviously coming into Exodus, I think for the first time, is Matt Cross coming up
Oh,
as
I
well
love
at Journey
him.
Free. That should be an interesting one. Obviously, Anthony Green's there, but you've obviously beaten him before. But what do you think is the ultimate goal for Exodus Pro? I mean, obviously, every time that we've spoken to someone from Exodus, they say that it is the top territory in the NWA. But is there a point where it doesn't be controversial, but it could move away from the territory and just become a promotion on its own? I don't know what the goals would be for Exodus.
I personally don't know either what the overall goal is for Exodus Pro in division of the Overlord himself, but I do know for me personally, being the champion, being the representative for Exodus Pro, I think we have we're definitely the best territory. Let me just put that out there. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is. We're the best territory, hands down. Not even second guessing it. I think we are becoming a brand entirely different from NWA. I think we are establishing ourselves as not just the top territory, but as a top promotion in the world of wrestling. I think, like I said earlier, we are the place to be. Everybody wants a piece of us. I mean, the sky's the limit for us, really. There's no ceiling for us. We're just gonna get bigger and bigger every show.
Yeah, that would be an idea. I'm just reading that Carson Drake hasn't cashed in his opportunity yet, so that's another interesting, maybe again, as you say, not necessarily in a fair fight, but perhaps he could cash in an opportunity at some
He
point.
definitely could. Again, he doesn't want to have a straight up one-on-one match with a fully ready and tapped in Dante Casanova. He has to have some sort of advantage. So I'm assuming whether me and him face off each other at the get-go or he waits till after my match, I have a feeling we're gonna see him Journey 3 trying to weasel his way.
Yeah, probably.
Him and
Well,
that stupid shuffle.
oh. You got that and the Slade slap, haven't you, from the Spectaculars? There is a team though that are returning to Journey Free that I personally am looking forward to, and that's is it Shot Through the Heart are back.
Yeah.
Love Doug and his tag team partner TJ Crawford will be making their return as well. Exodus 3, December 6th. Fee, we're going to start wrapping up, but before we do, obviously the last question of the show falls in
Don't
your.
be scared.
So what have we had so far? We've had Brandon Beretta. You asked Brandon Beretta if he could be anything in wrestling other than a wrestler. What would he be? He said the ring mat, if I remember
I said
rightly.
the canvas.
Yeah. I can't remember some of the
Who
questions that
else
you.
did I ask?
Oh, you asked Kratos what dinosaur he would
What
be.
dinosaur he would be? Or what,
Yeah.
what his favourite dinosaur was for? Because
Yeah.
folk don't ask grown-ups what their favourite dinosaur are. Then you get to a certain age and people stop asking. I like dinosaurs.
So
Um,
that's that.
I've got a really simple one for you. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Ooh, I've actually thought about this to great degree because I go back and forth. So I kind of want super strength, but not just like super strength in terms of like I'm massive and I'm huge and I just beat everything up. But I want like more so super muscles. Because it's like if you're strong in every aspect of your muscle of your body, you can run incredibly fast. You
Hmm.
can punch anything as hard as you want, probably break it
Carson's
or whatever the case
face.
is. Yeah, so there's like almost any power, like when it comes to like super speed or flying or whatever the case is, you can have some bit of aspect of that with super muscular strength.
Okay.
Or I would have the ability to convince anybody of anything that I want.
Oh, that's
So
quite
like,
manipulative.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mm.
A little bit of manipulation can go a long way.
That
Yeah.
could be quite beneficial, actually. I quite like that one.
Yeah.
You got me thinking.
That is an interesting one for sure. But everyone, don't forget Journey Free. For those of you that are in Cleveland, get yourself down to the Tree Law Music Hall on December the 6th for
Such a
Journey
good wee
Free.
venue. I
Yeah,
love it. It's such
love
a
the
cool
venue.
venue.
It is a great venue. Get yourselves down there. Hopefully, we don't know yet if it's going to be on the NWA YouTube channel. For us in the UK, we hope that it is, so we can get ourselves down there. But Dante, before we start wrapping up, what have you got coming up that you can announce, and where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media on Instagram at the Dante Casanova. You can find me on Twitter or X, as it's now called. You can find me there at _ Dante Casanova _ Facebook is just Dante Casanova. And what I got coming up, November 22nd, I have MPX in Texas. I do believe that's Athena's wrestling school.
It is indeed. I know
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
I have that. That's my debut there. I'm excited for that.
that's great.
Everything else is kind of under wraps. I'm kind of keeping it hush for now because it's a lot of big upcoming events that I'm excited to share when the time's right. But as of right now, my next upcoming show is November 22nd at MPX.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Well, that would be good to see on there. Fee, inside the ropes, got something cool to
We
announce.
do indeed. We've just announced this week and tickets went on sale yesterday. We are doing 2 dates in the UK with Carlito. So we'll be in Glasgow and Manchester on the 8th and 9th of January. So the tickets are available from insidetheropes.co.uk just now. I think, don't quote me on this, about £52, £53 for the VIP and about £25 for the general admission. But before that, later this month, we are doing 3 shows with Mick Foley. We will be in Glasgow, Newcastle, and Glasgow, Newcastle, and Belfast with Mick Foley. I think there's still some tickets are left for that as well. So that's going to be good. What else have we got? On the 14th, I will be with Premier British Wrestling in Maybole. On the 15th, I will be with W3L. The following week is the Mick Foley shows, and then the week after that, I am back with Premier British Wrestling in Dumbarton, and then with Saltire Championship Wrestling in, oh no, somewhere in Perthshire. I can't remember where.
Fine.
That's bad. Oops.
Busy bee feet
Sorry,
as
Brian.
always. Yeah. Busy bee feet as always. Coming up for me next is a vacation, finally. Get my time
Rub
away
it in.
in Morocco for 10 days.
Yay.
Back from Morocco, though, 2 big things coming up. One, obviously, Ignite Wrestling on the 23rd of November. Our championship is defended one more time to close out 2025. Triple threat match will see Aluna defend our championship, and her opponents are Chris Aries and Harrison Bennett from WoW. So that's going to be an interesting triple threat match on that show. The whole card for Ignite is announced on Ignite Rest Pro. There's a breakout tournament finals. The World Championship is on the line as always as they close out the year in style. It's called Curtain Call 4. They'll bring down the curtain on 2025 and we move to Chapter 5, which will be in February of 2026. And then finally, to the first big interview we've got coming back off of that is a man who, well, he's hit the headlines definitely in the last week or so. It's the artist formerly known as Ridge Holland. Luke Mendez, one of his first interviews since leaving the WWE, will be on this show at the end of November. Dante, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening in America. It's early evening over there, right? 5, 6 o'clock over there in the UK. We really appreciate that. We're looking forward to seeing you in Journey Free and hopefully your own tour of the UK at some point.
Hopefully so. Yeah, I would love. I'm looking forward to that. It's definitely in the workings. I got something coming up, but definitely sometime next year. Hopefully, early spring.
We'll
We'll
look
be.
out for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I do look forward to it. Thank you guys so much for your time and giving me the opportunity to chat with you guys. It was a pleasure and a great
You are
time.
more than welcome.
You are more than welcome indeed. But for Dante Casanova, for the wonderful Miss Fiona Lochran, and from me, Adam Cousins, you've been watching the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. And until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and good night.